If you want something made in 20 days or a month, we're not the right people because we don't know how to do that. We just don't know how to go longer than 10 days. And then you always have faster options available for 7 days or 5 days or even faster than that. Hi, I'm John Litchin from the Rapid Group, and we sell speed. We make sheet metal parts, CNC machine parts, and wire harness assemblies. Specialize in 1 or 2 pieces, turned around in a few days. Our quote response time is in hours, and our standard turnaround time is going to be 10 days or less. Our founder was selling 3D printers and printing services and discovered it was a very crowded market. It wasn't terribly interesting to be in that business, but he found he was always waiting for the metal parts. And so he bought a sheet metal shop and reconfigured it to do sheet metal prototypes. And then a few years later, he bought a local machine shop that was having some difficulty and configured that to do machine prototypes. So there's rapid sheet metal and rapid machining. Everything is made in Nashua, New Hampshire. We specialize in 1 or 2 pieces. We're happy to build anything from 1 piece up into 10s. In some cases, we can even go up into hundreds. We make real metal parts out of blocks of metal, sheet metal, things like that. We have machining processes, forming processes, and then we also have a group who does wire harness assemblies. So let's say you are an electronics manufacturer and you need an enclosure made up in a few days. Our standard turnaround time for an enclosure like this is going to be 12 days, and then we have faster turnaround times available, and that includes powder coat, the silk screening, wire harness assemblies, the whole thing turned around in 12 days. Here's a part we make for a guy who does custom reproduction amplifiers of amplifiers from the 1950s. It's a sheet metal part. It included a speckled powder coat as well as a silk screening on it, and our standard turnaround time for this, the slowest that we would go, would be 9 days, and then we would get faster from there. Our internal systems are all premised on getting 3D models from customers. Internally, we're using SolidWorks, but if your CAD system can output a step file or an IGES file or something like that, we can just take that and run with it and get you a quote in a few hours. If you're using SolidWorks or Creo, we actually have a free tool that we've made based on our internal software, put a bit of a box around it, called a product called SolidQuote, and now you can get quotes instantly from within your SolidWorks environment. So just open up a model, press a button, and you get a price. Here's an aluminum machine part we made. We refer to it somewhat as a meat grinder. This is something we made from a 3D model from the customer, and our standard turnaround time for this, as you see it right here, is going to be 10 days. That's the slowest we go, and then we get faster from there. Here we have an example of a Dilrin part that we made out of black Dilrin. We also machine all of your common plastics, as well as like nylons and Lexans and things like that. Once again, a lot of materials you can't print, but you can machine, and we can turn these around for the same standard turnaround time of 10 days or less. Some of our clients from the show here, people who have already done business with us, actually made a point to come walking in and just kind of gush about how they like doing business with us. We can compete with 3D printers very often. If you make a part out of plastic, just because you want to get it made in metal later on, we can make it out of metal in the time it takes you to get a 3D printed part made. We deal with all your standard materials: sheet metals, stainless steels, mild steels, aluminums, copper, brasses, bronzes. The only things we don't deal with are the high-tech materials like Inconels and titanium right now. That may change in the near future. Quotes are free. And the best thing is to send in an RFQ to Rapid, and you'll get a quote back in a few hours, and you'll see how fast we go.
See us and other quality suppliers at d2p.com.